Any second now. All right, Welcome in, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. I am one half of your host and virtual bartender, Mr. Nick Teodoro. Joining me, as always, is my tag team partner in life, my wife, Miss Nicole. If things look a little different today, they are because we're broadcasting live from the most magical place on earth, Seaside Park, New Jersey, from Linda T's Airbnb. Nicole, what are you having this evening?
Well, since you're in wonderful Seaside, I have to hold down the Nick Club fort, the Nick Club bar, and I'm going a little old school tonight. I have Tito's and Sprite. Now, Mr. Nick, you need to tell me what you're drinking and our three things for the show today.
Mr. Nick has his red wine, as usual, in a very classy glass.
So classy.
Very different for a special occasion. Well, let's see. Rhea Ripley has returned. Mariah May has turned heel, and Bo Dallas has arrived on Raw. It's Friday, July 12th, 2024. This is the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. Welcome back, everybody, to the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. If you're new here, please hit the old like and subscribe. We love having you. If you are a regular, we love having you back. Nicole, let's take us through the steamiest, the hottest storyline in professional wrestling. Liv Morgan and Dominick Mysterio. Let's catch you all up. Nicole, we have a lot to get through.
A lot.
We are going way beyond PG-13. We are in the Netflix era of WWE.
We're getting
we're on our way.
We're getting steamy. We're getting picante. It is, and again, Judgment Day, Liv Morgan, run Raw. There's a lot to get through. But basically, starting off the night, it's announced that it's going to be a mixed tag match for Maine. It's going to be Ray and Selena from the LWO versus Dominic and Liv Morgan. And then it cuts to backstage with Dom like complaining to Pearce. He's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to tag with her. And he's like, well, Liv requested it. You know, your dad wants to do it. Like, this is happening. And he's like, well, I don't want to. He's like, well, you got involved in the last 3 women's world matches. So, like, you're doing this. And he's like, well, that wasn't me. And then, of course, cut to Liv. And she's like, no, Dom, like, I'm doing this for you. Like, you're going to beat your deadbeat dad. Like, we're going to win. And he's like, all right, only if we're going to win. And she's like, no, we'll win.
He also cuts in and he's just like, she's like, well, let's talk about strategies. There better be some chicken nuggies or tendies.
Yeah, that's what.
Talk like a 10-year-old girl.
Yeah, and she's like, no, we're going to win. She's like, let's go. And he's like, all right, I'll do it. And she's like, let's go talk strategy. Let's go. And that's when he's like, oh, I want tendies or nuggies. And she's like, yeah, of course. And then they walk
shout out to Steven, who loves that.
Dry dino chicken nuggets for the win.
Exactly. Everyone's checking in. Hi, Bobby.
Hi.
Hey, Lisa. But yes, let's get back to it.
So then quickly, there was a brief backstage between Priest and Seth. And I'm not going to get into that, but then the very end of it, he gets a phone call, and this is going to be a theme and obviously how this ends of the night. And then he smiles. He's like, where are you? And it's like, well, who? So again, planting the seeds of how this goes. And now it cuts to this now I feel like infamous parody of another infamous segment. So they cut to the clubhouse and Liv wants to work, like Dom is playing video games and she wants to work on double team moves. And she's like, we want to beat Ray. We got to make sure we're on the same team, on the same page. Let's loosen you up. And she like pushes him down onto the chair. She like pushes his leg over her shoulder. Like,
we first said he's like, what double team moves would we ever need to like do, or something, some derivative of that.
But then again, she has his arm. She's like hamstring, groin area. She's like massaging, and then he was like, "Oh, this doesn't feel good." She's like, "Yeah, I know." She's like, "We can do this before all your matches, or even if you don't have a match, we can do this." And then they're just kind of like,
"Okay." So no, it's you kind of touched on it. I don't know if you're getting the callback to the Trish Stratus Triple H from back in
2001. They had a mixed tag, and it was like Triple H was trying to teach her. Was that where the arm move was? And her arm was between her legs, and they were basically like,
"Oh yeah, no, it's a wrist lock. The wrist lock reverse because you reach through your legs."
Yeah. So basically, Stephanie walked in, and like all the arms were between all the legs. So she's doing this, and of course, the Judgment Day walks in. You see Priest walk in first, and he kind of stops and does like a look, and then Finn and JD are so funny because they kind of like look around the corner like little like cartoon characters, like
Gophers. Yeah, like Gophers. Is that a good one? No.
Meerkats. Like
what's the character from Caddyshack?
The Gopher.
Yeah, the Gopher. The Gopher pops up.
Yeah. So they look around the corner, and then Carlito comes in. He's like, "That's cool." Like they're confused about kind of what is happening. And then like JD covers his face. He wags his finger like you shouldn't be doing that. And then Liv's like, "Feel better, Daddy Dom," and walks out. And then Priest is like, "I don't even know what that was. I thought you were done with this by now. It's not that hard." And then Carlito's like, "Well, actually, it's hard." And they're like, "Whoa, bro!"
Yeah, he points at him.
Yeah. So then Dom says to Priest, he's like, "Oh, you're starting to sound like my dad." And he's like, "No, I'm." And then Priest is like, "I'm starting to understand your dad." He's like, "I thought you were going to fix this. Like, fix this." And he walks out. He's like, "I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it." And then they walk out. And then Finn goes to Priest. He's like, "Oh, you said you had a surprise. Like, what is it?" He's like, "No, backtrack." Dom walks out, and Priest goes to Finn. He's like, "Oh, he's going to learn some consequences." And then Finn's like, "Oh, I thought you had a surprise for us." And he's like, "No, I'm going to hold that to me. And like you and Dom will find out." So again, he knows Rhea's in the building. Rhea's there. He's playing this very close to the chest.
Right. So fast forward to, are we going, or
well, there's a very brief of Pat does his Patistrator thing, and he has like the laser eyes and doing all this thing, and he's like, "It was uncomfortable. It was wild. It's like your friends got caught in their basement by their parents. There was lust in his eyes." And I was like, yes, call back to Randy. Love it. But he's like, "They're lovebirds. They're lovebirds." Now it's match time. We're done with the backstage stuff. So Liv comes out. Of course, she waits on the ramp for Dom, and they're like, she's wearing her little dirty Dom shirt, and they like walk out together, and then they cut to commercial. And they come back from commercial. They're sitting in the
well, she does a grand, kind of like a grand.
Oh, she's like
yeah, and she waits, and it's actually really what's nice about it is they slow play it too, like the production team, and
they're like slowly like
or maybe it's Dom, so that just to make it that much more.
And then she like when they hit the end of the ramp, she turns. She's like, "Do you like my belt?" And he's like, "Why are you doing this?" So it's like all these little subtle things. But when like they're in the corner, they come back from commercial, and she's like, "I can't wait for you to beat your deadbeat dad." Like that's what she's yelling the whole time from the apron. It was like, "We're gonna beat your deadbeat dad." And I'm going to skip through this.
So manipulative this whole time, and that's what like she's played the character so well. Like I just. Just the way like there's some characters like the heelish tactics that like in the story and the way that she's worded things and like played on their emotions for everybody, like even like the R-Truth stuff.
Yeah.
Like everything has been played so perfectly and written and she's played the part so well. So anyway, I digress. Go on.
So briefly trying to go through the match, just hit a few points. I did just because I love Selena Vega and she's married to Malachi Black and she did the heel thing, like she lifted up Liv's chin with her foot like Malachi does.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I love when couples do each other's moves, but I digress. And then they did that like Ray put her in that wheelbarrow thing to put her on Dom and hit the Hurricane Rana.
Well, Ray's good to like. I feel like in mixed tags he's like the perfect because he's a smaller like he's like his size. He's just so perfect for that. Like all the not all the.
And also it's just like Dom looks like a giant because Liv is tiny. And then she looks huge next to Selena because Selena's 5. I think she's like 5 foot. Like she's 5 nothing.
Oh yeah. If that.
So it's just like
maybe on heels.
Like 3 little people at Dom. Skipping through. So basically at one point Liv is sitting in the turnbuckle and Zelina Vega's across the ring. She looks like she's about to run and hit the Meteora, like the knees to the face when she's down on the mat. And then Dom goes in to stop her, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And then good old Ray hits a good old, I'm gonna say,
drop. I think it was
a drop toe hold.
Yeah,
drop toe hold, and he goes flying, of course, into Liv. And he freaks out, rolls out of the ring. She rolls after him, and she's like, "It's okay. I'm not mad. And then she pushes him out of the way because Zelina's coming to hit the double knee.
Yeah,
so
she saves him.
She saved him again, but then Ray comes anyway and hits Dom. Then the commercial break, they go back they're back in the ring at some point. Liv does hit the 3 amigos, which everyone kind of was like booed. And then at one point, then Ray throws Dom into the ropes. He goes to 619. Dom grabs Ray, and then Selena goes underneath Ray to hit her own 619 to hit him in like kind of like the lower knee area, which I thought was a fun spot for like him holding Ray, and then she so perfectly went under the other rope. I thought that was like a super. Again, I don't know how many mixed tag matches Ray has done, but I feel like that was very like a fun new spot.
Well, there's a few people that can do that because they're veterans, and I feel like that's just kind of those two together. And I feel like even if like the LWO is a lot of just like kind of thrown together people, but those are the two that are like making the most of what they can.
I feel like there's actually like a legit like chemistry, like not like like more like father-daughter chemistry, not like sexual chemistry, but like they're good together.
We're getting spent. Alan's chiming in. I want Liv Morgan and MJF walking down the aisle to destroy Tom.
Rhea Ripley.
MJF's the only true voice of the Excuse Conference whose promo was given all his pale comparison. That'd be nice if MJF wasn't under contract to AEW though. Yeah. I mean he's supposedly he's really good friends in real life with Liv Morgan, so it's not that outlandish. And he's cut a promo in the past about a Liv that he knew back in the day. It was one of his better AEW. The car wreck promo, is that the right one? Right? Is that what I'm thinking of? Like it was like the drunk.
Was it around it? I'm just trying to remember. Were people thinking that it was Liv that was in the car wreck one?
Yeah. He was driving impaired or something along those lines, or he got in a car accident. Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, I digress. So we're towards the end of the match.
So basically, that was a fun spot, and then Ray hits a splash on Dom. Liv breaks up the pin, and then Selena hits her with the 619, and then she's out of the ring, and she throws a chair into the ring, just like Dom did for her matches. The ref goes to get the chair out of the ring, and then she pulls or push, whatever she does, then crotches Ray on the ropes. He falls down. Dom hits the splash.
Which I love that as his finisher. Yeah. I really do.
And he pins Ray for the very first time in the main event of Raw. And then they go to like celebrate and they hug immediately. And then he was like, "Oh no, we're not supposed to hug." And then she jumps in his arms, and because she's so heavy, they fall this way. And Dom lands on top of Rhea. And they have this steamy moment, which I really wish you had the photo of this. They're like nose to nose, and they're like in it. And then "This is my brutality" hits, and they freak out because mommy's back and mommy's not a happy mama.
And this is the moment when they realize.
Yes, this is when the music hits. And it's just like, oh, girl. So, like, it's not like Rhea runs, or it's not like she slow plays it, but she has, like, I'm, like, walking with a purpose. And Liv was like, oh, yeah, I forgot your girlfriend was scary AF, and, like, hightails it through the crowd out of the ring. Or out of the arena. And then Rhea walks basically around, gets into the ring in front of commentary, and you can tell, like, Dom's not looking at her. And then she does the finger up. She's like, look at me. And then he's like, kind of like, not like I'm sorry, but like, and he like goes to hug her, and she's like, nah. And walks around him, goes out of the ring, and then Raw basically ends. And there was like a video on WWE.com that like them walking up the ring. He's like, I'm sorry. And he's like, you can't really hear anything, which drives me insane. But when they get to the top of the ramp, she like kind of like shoves it, not like a huge shove, but like enough of like, no, bro, like out. And then the video cuts. So Mama's back. Mama's not happy. Mommy's coming for her title. I think her and Priest are going to be in cahoots. They said on internal WWE listings, Rhea's listed as a face, but everyone, including Priest, is listed as a heel still. But I think her and Priest are going to like kind of leave the Judgment Day.
Well, Lisa is chiming in. Don't mess with mommy.
No.
Exactly. Don't mess with mommy. So mommy is back. So the begs the question. So what I want to know, and because we didn't see it yet, right? She walked. He said she walked with a purpose. She came down as fast as she would.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to know is Rhea Ripley cleared to wrestle? Because there's rumors that they have storylines for her regardless of whether she's cleared to wrestle or not. So it'd be interesting to see whether or not she is, because she's great on the mic and she can do a phenomenal job and still keep the storyline moving forward. But is she in fact cleared to wrestle? In this scenario, how soon can we expect to see her? Is this conceivable for SummerSlam, or is this going to be pushed?
I wouldn't mind it not being at SummerSlam and kind of push it a little bit. I feel like we got 3 weeks. It's like August 3rd, August 2nd, whatever that is. I would like this to breathe a little bit more. I would like to be like drawing the lines between like, are you team Rhea? Are you team Liv? Like, Liv got us the tag belt, so maybe Finn and JD are more team her. Like, Rhea was never really team JD. Like, Steven threw out there, I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of mixed tag matches. And again,
now it's like, are you team Liv or team Liv or team Rhea? Yeah, like it's so funny. It reminded me of first time I think, oh god, I don't want to date herself. Remember that Twilight stuff? That's like the last thing. It's like team Jacob or team Edward.
Oh, Lord, babe.
Well, we want to hear from all you. Are you team Rhea? Are you team Liv? Write us in the comments. Let us know.
I'm team good women's wrestling. I think they both, like, again, Liv, we talked about Liv has come leaps and bounds, and that was the original tag match. Was it whatever it was Finn, Liv versus Rhea, Priest back in whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When the Judgment, like when they first turn on Edge, or no, it was before they turn on Edge, because that was like Finn was still fighting the Judgment Day before he joined the Judgment Day, and he teamed with Liv because she had that thing with Rhea.
Yeah.
Again,
it would be nice. It would be nice long-term storytelling. That's tough.
No, agreed. And I think this has been good story, like long term, and I think this is one of the best storylines that they're doing right now. Again, there's a lot of hot angles going on right now in WWE on Raw and SmackDown
in multiple ways.
Yeah. But again, how many segments did I just run through? Like and we didn't even talk about the triple threat, the 6-man tag between JD versus Awesome Truth and Braun. So it's just like there's another thing on top of it. The JD string just goes through all of Raw. So I think there is, maybe it's the kind of similar thing that they're doing on SmackDown with the Bloodline. Is like kind of like the civil war of the Judgment Day between like who's Team Liv, who's Team Rhea. There's gonna be maybe a mixed 6-man tag or something. I think maybe. I don't know. I love the storyline. It's our topic every week. Like, it's so super hot. I think Dom and Liv have been paying it beautifully. I think we've been seeing nothing but Priest's praises, like Finn's. Like, I don't know. I'm excited to see where this goes.
So the other question I have, I have multiple questions about this. Will Rhea Ripley forgive Dom for his behavior with Liv Morgan? Look at how embarrassed he is.
Oh, because you got caught, little boy. You got caught.
He just wanted nuggies and tendies. I think he was in it for the tendies. Or maybe the breasts. Hold on.
The chicken breast holds the chicken.
I don't have my mouse, so I can't get to my little spots as quick as I normally could. You're lucky. But yeah, so yes or no, Nikki? Will she forgive him?
I don't know. I can see it going both ways. I don't think she'll forgive. I'm trying to think, what was the Chyna Eddie storyline? Like, Eddie cheated on her, and then like what they feuded, right? Like, let's have a Rhea versus Dom at SummerSlam match. Have that be your Mania match. Like,
well, that's actually, it brings up a great point. Like,
have her have an actual belt at Mania. I'm just joking.
But his involvement, and I know you're not a fan of it, but like his involvement reminds me of like in the women's division, he elevates so many storylines that just keep more eyes on the women's division. Like, I know the world title's in this picture, but like it happens all the time where, he's not like done it as like a manager. He's done it as a full-time wrestler. Like I remember like James Ellsworth was just kind of like a joke manager type person. Who's the Reggie? Right, Reginald.
Yeah, that was all like, yeah.
But like there are people that I felt like Enzo for that short period of time with Nia Jax, like that like kind of like their storylines like interwoven in the women's division.
Otis, Mandy.
Yeah, like all that stuff, and I just feel like Dom's done it really, really well. In this, where it just keeps it top of mind that I think if the belt wasn't even in the storyline, it would be. It would still be like a main event caliber storyline. So I don't know. We want to hear from all you though. Do you think Dom's going to forgive him? Let's see in the comments.
Rhea's going to forgive Dom.
Lisa is Team Rhea 1000%.
Yes.
Steven is just getting sick. And then
I don't remember what.
And then does she forgive him? So if Dom gets Rhea puppy, he may have a chance. Well, let's pretend it's not.
That's right. Eddie brought her roses and the puppy, and
as long as it's not Pepper.
Stop it. Will you stop that?
As long as it's not Pepper. But again, and then the last question I have is, again, how does the whole Judgment Day feel about the return of Rhea? Because now Liv's kind of infused herself in this storyline where, again, the JD of JD and Finn Balor have won the belts because of Liv. So she's incurred a little bit more of a good favor with her, whereas Rhea's been away. I don't know.
What's going to cause your civil war? I think, again, I've been saying this for weeks. I think JD and Liv are a thing. And I think it's going to be Priest, Rhea, Finn, Liv, and I guess by proxy, JD McDonough. And then you got to see where Carlito
and his big forehead.
Dom fall.
JD McDonough's big forehead. I love how Michael Cole just like absolutely shits on him all the time about.
They call him a Klingon one week. They call him a bobblehead. They call
like
him
an alien. Pop. Poor guy. We call ugly every week. Well, I guess he's getting paid pretty good on TV. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out over the next few weeks before SummerSlam. What are the again, Priest has to defend presumably right now against Gunther.
They said it's Priest, the ring general.
It's one-on-one right now. As of right now. Things can always change. Card subject.
If anything, I skipped over that. It's going to be Seth because they reneged the gentleman's agreement.
Right. So you just never know yet. you just never know yet. Well, hopefully that'll be something we will report on next week. But
stay tuned
for
kids.
now, stay tuned. For now, we switch over to our second topic. On this show, we talk a lot about WWE. The last few weeks, we talked a lot about WWE, but we do talk about pretty much all professional wrestling. AEW obviously is a big one. And this week, when AEW hits the mark, they really hit the mark. And this week, a storyline that's been going on for the last, year and a half, feels like. Maybe year and a half, starting to come to fruition, where Mariah May turned heel on Toni Storm upon winning the Owen Hart Cup Finals, which earns her a shot at All In. So let's recap you on one of the biggest the biggest turn of the week. Mariah May, is she now the biggest face of the women's division in AEW with that turn? I mean, she's very popular. It's the biggest newsmaker. So Nikki, tell us how we got there.
Well, first off, because now I'm behind the bar instead of in front of the bar. I am wearing my Owen Hart shirt. Shout out to the late great. This tournament was built around him, and I also should have worn maybe my Toni Storm shirt, because I think the little bits and pieces that we do talk about AEW, I'm very huge supporter of Toni Storm. This timeless Toni Storm gimmick that she's doing, her with Mariah May, like this has been such a long storyline. And I had said to Nick, and I was like, I think Mariah's gonna win this cup, and they're gonna fight at Wembley, and then the turn. And the turn came quick, and it was brutal, and I loved it. I think this is probably, again, Tony Khan and AEW gets so much shit, but this has been magnificent. To me, this has been beautiful, how it was like her admirer, then her understudy, then her love, and this is great love affair, and she's been rooting for Mariah to win this match so they can have this great moment at Wembley, because she's, British, she's from the UK, like they'll have this big moment. And then she just kind of went so hardcore. I did not see this coming, and I'm like chef's kiss about it. But briefly to get to go.
Oh yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. I just remember just saying like how literally I was dozing off, and Nikki just popped up like crazy on this. So.
I literally, because I grabbed you a lot, and I was just like, and I grabbed Nikki, and I was like, oh my God, it's I called her winning, and I knew she was going to turn. I didn't think it'd be this quick and this brutal, because Lord, it was brutal. You saw next videos. I'm going to talk about it. Strapping kids. But and I was surprised when they first said that because Willow Nightingale, who won the last year's Women Owen, it's her and Mariah was going to be main. And I was like, well, Tony's not the best at booking women most of the time. I was like, oh, that's interesting that they're going to be main over.
He does have a few good, there is a few really good women's matches. Yes. I'm like, all right, if they build it up the right way.
There's little sprouts of brilliance. Sometimes like Britt Baker and your girl Thunder Rosa had that match, and they made it's like, I tried to. It says Rosa.
Put some respect on her name.
No, I'm too white to roll my R's. I apologize. But yeah, when he does it again with this time, the timeless Toni Storm stuff, when he gets it and it's like lightning in a bottle, and it does it great. But then the rest of the women's division kind of suffers. But I digress on this. But so I was like, all right, they're gonna main. And there was this great promo package, their video promo package of how they got here. And then it's Willow versus Mariah, and Willow's the babe with the power, and then Mariah's the chick with the champ. So,
which again, not a fan of Willow, just throwing it out there.
I think
people like her because her entrance has a lot of claps. Kind of like Joe Hendry, who shout out to Joe Hendry.
Are you?
I don't know. I just feel like it's a lot of clapping. Like people get into it because there's a lot of clapping. Not to put him on the same, but that's one of the many. But like, regardless, I guess go on.
But in this promo package, Toni is basically, she's like, I want you to win this. We're gonna be at Wembley together. We're gonna have this match. It's gonna be great. And then Mariah was like, I want to have my moment in front of my country, in front of my family. She's like, I'll do anything to bring the Owen home. And she's like, Toni, this is for you. It's like, okay. And then like they come out, and of course Mariah's in pink gear because again, pink Owen. And then I know you don't like her, but Willow has this beautiful gear that's for Owen. That's like when he was like that black with the yellow caution danger outfit, and it was like super awesome. Again, the match was it's a match. I think Willow.
Right. I mean,
I was again watching it in the moment. I was like, okay, and then rewatching it and like more paying attention. Like we're like kind of half asleep. Really watching, I was like, there's some spots that I'm like, okay. I think Willow made Mariah look really good. To be honest,
yeah, is she that green that like?
Well, I don't. That's the problem. I know she had her thing in Stardom. I know she had her tag team with Mira Shirakawa. I know they were tag champions over there. But I don't know if it was Excalibur or Toni that said this is only her 20th match in AEW, which seems like a lot, but seems like not a lot.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Like I just feel like I want
when
to see more of her.
Came for a while. Again, she has a great, and again, she has those long legs. So her drop kicks are great. Like that was when she did the hip attack. It looked good. It's just like certain like, and that's my thing about maybe women's.
Interesting. Apparently, Mox produced that match.
Oh, really? Oh, you know how much I love Mox.
Why not? I know. So now it's 5 stars. 5 stars.
So I'm going to kind of cut through again. Also, shout out Nigel McGuinness was on commentary, and I could not be more in love with Nigel McGuinness. And he was saying this is the greatest love affair of all time. It's nothing more magnificent than this love affair. And then Mariah May should get an Oscar for her betrayal of, and he didn't say NXT, but basically NXT Toni Storm. But I'm going to cut through a little bit of it and just kind of get to the end bits where the shenanigans happen. So at some point, a person in a hoodie comes out and grabs kind of Willow through the thing. And then Toni jumps on the other end of the apron to distract the referee away from what's happening. And basically it's Stokely Hathaway grabbed Willow. Chris Statlander came and gave her the big boot. So then she laid out and there were some shenanigans happening, but basically she came back. Willow takes her big straps down. That's her big thing. And she does the cannonball into the corner. Then she went to go pick Mariah up for the Death Valley driver thingy that she does. But then Mariah May basically turned and rolled her up. 1, 2, 3. Mariah May's your Owen Hart Cup winner, babe.
You did it. You did it. And just for that.
Yeah. Kids.
So, yeah, a little disappointed. Just before we get to the theatrics after the match, but a little disappointed with how it ended because I wanted her to get a definitive victory and a roll-up. You know how much we hate roll-ups and small packages and roll-ups and small packages. What's the other one that I'm pretty sure those are the two. But yeah. Yeah, I guess it's all but I guess roll-ups and small, it's all kind of classified in that. But yeah, so just because I wanted a more definitive victory for her, especially over Willow, who's considered now at least upper mid-card to lower end main event AEW women's division. So it would just make her look a little stronger, but you still have time.
Well, I think that's what makes her look okay because like Stokely, Chris, and Toni had to get involved in the match for Mariah to win.
Right, and that's what I don't like. I don't know. I don't know if I like that.
Like, it doesn't make, again, we're still building up to more Willow, Chris Statlander stuff, so.
Right, so they're trying to infuse, at least, I guess he's, to credit, maybe we're talking about both sides, or I'm talking about both sides of my mouth. At least Toni is trying to infuse more women's storylines into that, card and and the whole tournament. So I get it. I'm fine with it. But anyway, I digress. So take us to after.
So then again, this photo, she rolls her up. Mariah's crying. There was a, at the moment, a sweet moment between Willow and Mariah do shake hands, and then Willow was like, all right, and then walks up the ramp. Then Toni, of course, bursts into the ring, lifts up her arm, they hug, they swing around, and then Toni points to, at the top of the ramp is the Women's Owen Cup and the belt. So she's like, oh, we need to go. And they step out of the ring and they are holding hands and they skip halfway up the ramp. And then she lets Mariah May go, and Mariah May walks up the rest of the ramp. She grabs that belt and god damn it, she turns around and smacks Toni right in the face with it. And I was like, that's my grab neck. I was like, oh, we're doing this. And it was a holla.
So we're going to stop there and pause for a second. So I was a little disappointed. I told Nick this. I was a little disappointed at basically just how quickly it went down. Maybe time constraints happened, but like I wanted like the theatrics of it. To me, I wanted her to like see, because she's looking at the belt, which also just sidebar. Hate the fact that they give a belt out for this. Just make it. If it's a cup, don't give them a cup. Don't give them a cup and a belt. Like now, next is gonna be a cup, a belt, a ring, like a tiara. Like there's too many awards. There's already too many belts. Now we're getting another belt to winning a tournament. Every tournament's got regardless. All right. But anyway, I wanted her to kind of hold, because I think the idea behind like her seeing a title, and maybe that's the idea, is like she saw a belt and knowing that was the belt that she, symbolizing the belt that she wants to get. I want her to kind of like see that and maybe like a little bit more method acting, whatever it is, and then turn around and whack her. But anyway,
I think I kind of, because she and maybe this is bad camera angling, because again, Toni let her go halfway up the ramp. So she ran up by herself and then grabbed it. So I don't know when she grabbed the belt, like what facial expression she had, because you just saw like basically the hard cam.
So yeah, that's true. Jordan's got a question. Do we give Mariah the title at All In, or do we give it more time? Nikki, I know you have feelings about this. I'll let you answer.
No, I've been saying Mariah's taking the belt off her. I honestly think it's the big Wembley moment, your big heel. And I think as much as I do love Toni Storm, I think this is one of the most incredible characters, gimmicks that AEW has. But I think you can only do so much. And again, maybe Toni being off TV for a little bit won't be a bad thing.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Well, here's the thing. If you're telling me she's not gonna, her matches are gonna be as you like to say, sloppy McSlopperson, then I don't want her like keep the belt on Toni and give her time. But yes, in terms of the storyline, it's time for her in the storyline to peak and win the belt. Yeah. But to the same extent, there's people like, and we talked about it in the opening, sorry to cut you off, but like Liv Morgan is someone who I think, even as champion, like she's improved tremendously since she started, but like as champion, she's even elevated her ability that much more. So not to say that like Mariah, maybe that push would give her an extra push to, work that much harder in the ring and get that much better. And she's going to be put with, better talent that are going to elevate her. Like, we've seen it, the guy, on the veteran side and the men's side, like the AJ Styles of the world, like the Cody, who could just make a great match with anybody.
I think I have so many feelings about things. So I think it's one thing of, again, with AEW not doing house shows, how much repetition is she getting to actually do the things besides getting a 5-minute match on Rampage every week? Again, maybe I think she has a killer, the drop, like her kicks are good. She has super long legs. I think sometimes, again, it's maybe not all wrestling. She's got they have the storyline. She has a personality. If we can, again, the admirer, the understudy, the protege, and I think they're maybe turning the trope on its head a little bit. It's usually like, oh, I'm the mentor and now I'm jealous of my mentee being so good. So like the elder statements turns on the youngins. So I love that. And I think I loved that she just like flipped. And it was, again, we didn't really talk about how you showed the pictures about how brutal it was. Like her, like hit, and she's like the whipping the belt, and when she grabs her and the heel, and I know Tony's selling it, but it looks
well. Let's take it back. So because we didn't really get through, because we're bouncing back and forth between the comments and everything else. So she takes down I almost called her Liv. We were just talking about Liv. Toni takes down Toni with the belt, and then whips her a few more times with the belt. Luther gets involved, and she smacks Luther, hits him with the belt, and then he falls through a table. So she looks, Luther, but she looks stronger, taking out what is he, 6 foot? Probably 6 foot.
So she's whipping Toni with the belt. Luther comes, turns around, hits him in the head. Then she turns around and then kicks Toni in the ribs, gut area. And then she turns around, low blows Luther, and then hits him with the belt. And that's when he did his dive off the ramp.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
And that's when she grabs the heel and starts hitting her. And then again, between Toni selling her, clearly her hairspray has failed her. Her hair is everywhere. Her blood's everywhere. And it just looks so brutal. And then it was Toni's kind of thing with Mariah in the beginning. She would smell Mariah and rub her face on like Mariah's neck and chest. And that's exactly what Mariah did back. She they're face to face, and she's rubbing the blood. She rubs her face all over Toni. And that's how you get the end photo of her with the blood. I'm just liking the storytelling on the symmetry of what Toni used to do to Mariah. Mariah did it back, but like tenfold.
Yeah, like cruel, but in a cruel, violent way. Like, I don't know. I feel like, and especially like, because she does like the timeless gimmick, like with her, with the gown and everything else. Like, it reminds me of the movie, like the Black Dahlia murder, like kind of like that, like that type of stuff. Yeah, like, and it just looks, it's so much more impactful because she wears white, like the blood on the white, and
honestly,
and everything else.
The last remark is Nigel when they go off air. He's like, the end of a love affair.
So Steven, thank you for that comment. It's a perfect segue. It's reminiscent of Trick. Well, I 100% believe this. So actually, Steve, you bleed in, pun kind of intended, but not really, to my question. Was this better done than Trish Mickey? Because that was the original stalker, fan stalker, whatever you want to call it, storyline. And like in a lot of cases, what's interesting about this is I feel like, and this is kind of another 1A question, like Mariah May turned heel on Toni Storm, but should she be the heel because of all the ways she was treated, like along the way? Like you were talking about it, like she like the sniffer, and like she was basically kind of jobbing around, like here, like you were her understudy for a long time, but treat her kind of like garbage. And I sent you the video of her, what was it, her interview
when she was accepting, remember she made up her own award and she was accepting her own award. But I think that's the thing about what I think that's with Mira Shirakawa coming into this, that's when relationships get real toxic and real shitty. When Mariah was showing interest in Shirakawa, then Toni came in and was like, no, I love you. And then then there was more. It was more sexual. It was more like, I need attention. No, I'm here for you. No, I take care of you. No, I love you. And it's very much that. And I think maybe it's Mariah kind of snapping out. It's like, oh, this is maybe a little toxic relationship. And then maybe it's Toni realizing like, oh, like I didn't appreciate you enough. Like, no, I do. It's like this weird toxic kind of
gaslighting. A lot of gaslighting.
Yes, exactly. It's a lot of that. And I'm interested, like, is she breaking out of it? And she's like, this is what you did to me, and now I'm gonna beat the shit out of you and take your belt. And is it like Toni like, no, I know I didn't know how to show you that I love, like it's I'm here for it. I think it's gonna be real interesting. And then does Shirakawa get involved?
Yeah. Well, yes. That was the other. Yeah. Where is she in all of this? Where's Maria? I can't pronounce it. Shirakawa. Like they just brought her back. They just had the match, and then Like
Yeah,
she's going to be such an maybe
what about
is she a,
that she can't? She has to go back or can't stay or do all that.
well, is she the next challenge? Like, could she be the next challenger to like if Mariah wins the belt? Like Mariah and Toni go on for beyond one match to whatever the next pay per view is, or well, usually they do 2-3 months, but like then maybe Marina is another challenger there. So
rumor our girl's coming back, Jamie Hayter. So I would love Jamie to take the belt off Mariah in a couple, maybe what's the Full Gear or Revolution? Maybe Revolution.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Jordan's calling Mariah now Bloody Mariah. That's interesting. Yeah, that'd be a nice little nickname. What do y'all think? We're getting a bunch of new people chiming in. So as people kind of come in, make sure you hit the old like and subscribe. If you're new here, we love having you. We like to say hitting the old Samoan spike on the like. Yeah, a little aggressive, but yeah, so we're talking a little AEW in the mid card of our show here this evening. So this is, as you guys come in, this is a call-in show, so feel free to call in. We're gonna start taking calls relatively pretty shortly here. But yeah, we're kind of wrapping up. Mariah May did turn heel, but again, should she be the heel in this feud? Not really sure. She was treated like garbage for a while, so there are, as CM Punk likes to say,
I can't.
As CM Punk likes to say, or Seth Rollins, they're both saying it. There are consequences for your actions. So,
Damian Priest said that too. So, watch out, kids.
I don't know if you want Mariah May to be the face in this. If you think she's the face in the story, she's justified. Hit the like. If you think she's not, hit the like.
Again, we have this fight every week on this podcast. Maybe it's a little blurred lines, and it's not just.
I want to know.
Heel, not everything is face heel. Face heel, there's gray. If you
married a dumb man, I want to know who to root for.
In black and white, you're going to be very disappointing because it's nothing but 50 Shades of Grey.
You married a dumb man. I want to know who to cheer for and who to boo. I need to know. Tell me. This is why, I have a show. I have a button that tells me when to boo, like this. And when to cheer. So, I want to know who's face and who's heel. But speaking of, we don't know if they're a face or a heel or not. Brings us, well,
beautiful.
That was probably one of the best transitions.
That was beautiful.
Segues.
I'm sorry, it was beautiful.
I know it was wonderful. So, our main event of the evening, Bo Dallas has arrived on Monday Night Raw. We finally see him unmasked in person in the flesh. So let's take you back to Raw on Monday night, to Bo Dallas's return. Creepy, as usual, with anything Bray Wyatt or Wyatt, Uncle Howdy, Wyatt 6 related. So, Nikki, let's take us on the ride on how we get
a little yeet for you. So there was the match between Jay Uso and Chad Gable. It was actually a pretty good match. Before the shenanigans happened, I definitely recommend go watching it. But towards the ending of the match, Gable had Jay, of course, in an angle lock, and then all of a sudden, the barricade lights went out, and he immediately let go of the angle lock, and he's looking around, what's happening, and then another part of the lighting structure went out, and he's looking around, freaking out, and then he basically walks into a spear from Jay. 1, 2, 3. Then the lights go out, and Jay's basically did a small yeet, and then ran out the ring.
Which is a nice touch because normally, right, it's a strict cadence of the lights, the Fiend, the lights go out, and
this was a different.
Yeah, so it was specifically to
Was-
distract or throw off Gable.
So was it to distract Gable or also give a warning to Jay, like wrap this up, we're coming out?
Yeah, could be
Because that
either.
was the
Yeah.
thing. It was like, oh, you stole the Fireflies, and he's like, I told Unc he can have them back. So, and then also Jay had all his issues with his family. Like, are they okay with Jay? And this was like, hey, Jay, get out of here. We're gonna do some stuff. But I digress. So basically, Small Yeet runs up the ramp. Gable's still laying in the ring. Then that's when the music happens. The smoke comes out. And then he's just laying
and
there.
Kills everybody. The smoke kills everybody. Let's establish this. Everybody gets knocked. Every security guard dies when the smoke comes. But anyway, or passes out and is severely injured.
And basically, then he turns and he's looking at commentary, and then Nikki Abbey, it kind of like crawls up and out. And so she's standing between Gable and commentary, and then he basically like slithers out the other way, runs up the ramp. Someone yells, "Gable, watch out!" And he does like a somersault backwards. Where it was like shout outs to Gable for like, "Oh, I'm supposed to like pretend something like great."
Yeah, just playing it up, like in the scene, ad-libbing. That's the term.
Yes, it's perfect. So of course, then Nikki has her box-like structure, turns around. Pat McAfee is back.
Steve says it's Smilex gas. I don't know. If that's a thing, then I'll take it.
Is that the thing from Batman?
Maybe.
From like Michael Keaton first Batman ever? When they had the thing and they all smile?
I don't know.
Thank you.
Oh, Joker. Yeah, maybe.
Mama knows her Batman. Mama knows her Batman.
Yeah, Steven said.
Yeah, Steven and Ed both says I'm right. So shout out to me. I love Batman. Anywho.
Who thought you'd do trivia tonight? Well. Anyway,
whoosies. Nikki Abbey gives another box. It says play me VHS tape. Here we go. So again, I kind of said last week I didn't want it to be this again, but it was this again. But the video was so good, so I'm like, okay, I'll deal with it. But basically, they hauled out their 1997 substitute teachers box.
Yes, I think they've hired a long-term substitute teacher to just work for WWE that strictly just when they get these tapes stays in the back and plays them and then tells them what happened. But yes.
So the video starts a little different because it is like they do the blue screen and you see the Pluto sign and the Raven thing, but then you kind of see the images that we saw like at the QR code era, that it was like you saw the house and you saw the car and like the driving thing. So I thought that it started off a little different. So at least there's that. But then they show Bo and it's like back and forth images of Bo, and then you hear Uncle Hattie's voice that says, "Tell me about your family," and he has like this wicked smile. He's like, "My family, I took those that no one wanted. They were discarded, forgotten. I gave them a purpose." And he has this creepy smile again. He's like, "They're so happy you remembered them." And then there's this crazy cycle of words and images and all this stuff. So it flashes to Huskus, the pig boy, and you see his face and Joe Gacy's face.
It's just like this evolution. Whoever the original, like I want to say original, like the last incarnation of Bray coming back, and they did the crowd surfing, the crowd appearances. Whoever it was, this like Joe doing this and like growing out his hair and like playing this character. I feel like we saw more of this in this whole video, and even prior to this, the last few weeks with this character and Joe than anybody else. I don't know if they're like kind of precursing something, but like this character is going to be, to me, the breakout character of this whole group. But anyway, go on.
I think it's what Bo said last week, and it was just like I just lost it because you were talking. I'm sorry. It was like bringing them to life, giving them like what? Why do you say like what makes you brought them to, or I brought them, like I think when Bray first came back, they were very cartoony. And I think this is Bo bringing them to life.
Yeah,
And I think that's how this
personification.
Yes, great word, babe. So again, when Nick has up, it flashes pictures of Huskus, like the mask, but then you also see the pictures of Joe Gacy. And he's like, being a glutton for punishment doesn't make abandonment any less painful. And again, I think it's the callback for him having the faction in NXT, the schism that didn't work.
And I think, and also if and someone's gonna correct me because we hadn't watched as much NXT, and this is the last like year and change. He came back and was doing like some crazy stuff like on the announce table, and then he had a storyline the last few months where he was just getting his ass kicked every week by, I can't remember who it was.
Dijak.
Yeah, it was Dijak, but I think it was other people too. And like he would just go into whoever the GM's office was at. I don't know if it was Ava. It might have been Ava at the time, and he would just be like, just give me another match. So like, yeah, they're playing back, and that's the beauty of like this symbiosis. I'm gonna use that word. Use another
symbiotic
big
relationship.
Yeah, symbiotic. Yeah, I guess symbiotic relationship between Triple H and HBK at NXT to keep that continuity between the storyline. You don't have to have the same exact character, but you can bring the storylines into their main roster call up.
No, I agree. And he was doing he was popping out of the ring, he was popping on commentary, and then he like threatened to jump off the PC building. And he got into this whole big thing with Dijak. Again, like I know you previous episodes say I shit on Gacy, and I really think he's going to flourish in this role given the opportunity. And like I think he maybe can be the breakout star, but let's keep going. So then it flashes to pictures of Mercy, and I think this is probably the most I know that they did a close up on the beacon. I probably think this is the most gorgeous mask out of the 5 of them. And then you see Loomis's face, but you also see him like the mask is off, but he still has the dreads. But Bo says, "Forsaken, alone, begging for mercy," as the buzzard circled.
Yeah, such like well written.
It's so beautiful, and I think that's when we get into Raw, and I love it even more personally. And again, I rewatched everything this afternoon, and I'm like pausing and writing down everything Bo says. I'm pausing, writing everything that said, and I paused it, and there's this beautiful shot. I don't know if you have it. I don't think you do, but Rowan has the bunny cowl, but the mask is the Bludgeon Brothers when they had that like sunken in kind of like deer, lamb.
Oh yeah,
mask.
Yes, so I know what you're talking about. I tried to get that.
So yeah, he has the big cowl, but he has the mask, and I was like, oh, the callbacks to my Brody. And basically, he goes, "There has been loss, too much. But grief is the price you pay for love." And when they say love, there's a shot of Nikki. And Nikki's, because when when Bo talks about the Rabbling shows up, you see Rowan's face. Nikki is the only person you don't see her without the mask on. You see the boys with the mask, without the mask. You don't see Nikki without the mask. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I don't know what they're going with that, but he basically said this is the price you pay for love, and they show Nikki. They show the woman of the group, and then it goes into Nikki. I love Nikki and the boys. Get out of here. Is that not like a term? I don't know. Nikki's gotta stick together.
Nikki and the boys, yeah.
But then this is when it gets serious pants if we weren't serious before. But basically he goes, but now we must set the captives free. They need no master. And then you have this thing that it's like Bo rubs his hands on his face and he's like the hurt heel thing, and then it goes into the next portion.
So let's catch you up on the next portion of this where Bo closes up his summation of the Wyatts.
Do you think I Do you think we are sick?
Sick. Yes, I do.
Then sick is what will be.
Sick is what they'll be.
So we're going to put a pin in that real quick. Because then as soon as it's sick will what will be end scene, it cuts to Chad Gable running after Adam Pearce. And they're outside of Pearce's office. You know, they have the fun little tag of like, this is your office. And he's like, Gable's like, I know the tape is about me and you're not doing anything about it. And Pearce is like, well, I've ordered more security and I've ordered an investigation. So, like, I don't know what you want me to do. And he's like, well, do you ever think, like, if they're after you, that what you did? And he's like, all right, well, then I'll just handle this like I handle everything else. You know, I need a vacation. And he storms off. And then Adam Pearce opens his office door and you see, at first it's Bo and he has his hand in his head and he's like, he does like 2-3 rocks and he knows the door's open and he does this like looking over the shoulder and he sees this Adam Pearce and he like lays back into the chair and the last split second you see him smile and then Adam Pearce closes the door. And you're like, holy, what? What is Bo Dallas doing in Adam Pearce's office? I think that was so, it leaves me so intrigued of like what the layers and top of layers and top of layers. Maybe I'm super excited about this more than most, but like here for it.
So that begs the question, what did Bo Dallas say to Adam Pearce? Now, if you remember a few weeks back, was it right after the debut, they hacked into his Twitter for posting Pearce?
Was that Pearce again?
So a lot of questions on what his involvement is with this, what interaction they've had with him. What did you say?
They're brainwashing him? Because that's what I was listening to somebody, but like maybe like Uncle Hattie's been pulling the strings all along. Like, how can he get backstage? How can he, when they first debuted, do all this destruction? Like, where was Adam Pearce when like the stuff between, you know, like Drew and Punk, he's out there immediately with like 100, you know, with Jason Jordan and Pat Buck, and they're doing all these things, and it's like this big thing comes. Like, there's maybe it's coming from inside the house.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting twist on it. So then it begs the question of like, what can come of this, right? Like, are we looking at a Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy return with Chad Gable? Is he targeting Chad Gable still? It seems more likely Chad Gable, but is he targeting Jey Uso? The match, if it's with either, is it a singles match? Do we see the full Wyatt 6 come in? I mean, I don't know that they do like a full like mix with Nikki, but like maybe the four of them. Does Gable link up? Does he link up with the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile? And maybe that's a Survivor Series-esque match at SummerSlam. That's what I want to hear from everybody here. Like, what do you all think this is going towards? Eventually, it's got to be in the ring. So is this a singles match at SummerSlam? There's a lot. Also, here's the importance of this. So SummerSlam is a very, very big pay-per-view in general, right? It's one of the big four. But for Bray Wyatt, particularly, SummerSlam was when he debuted. So for
both, Bray Wyatt himself had his first match, and The Fiend had his first match at SummerSlam.
Interesting. Yeah, I was completely forgot about that second part.
That's when he like because we were watching it. Me and Rob were watching it, and we were at the condo, and he like turned Finn's neck like, and he had his face lantern.
Lisa loves this storyline. We'd love it too.
I wonder, is it gonna be like, remember it was like Fiend, yeah, Fiend Bray, but then you also had like Presenter Bray when he wrestled in his cute little red jumper. Like, do you think it'd be like maybe Bo Dallas or Taylor, whatever they're calling him, he would wrestle, and then maybe then when it gets bad, then Uncle Howdy's gonna come out?
I think this character that we're showing right now is the Preacher Bo. Like his equivalent of like the Preacher, and then he transforms into Uncle Howdy when he wrestles. I don't think Bo's gonna wrestle much. I think this is gonna hit like the Prophet. Like that's kind of how he comes across.
It's just so good because I feel like when getting back into wrestling in NXT, discovering FCW NXT, and then seeing what Wyndham Bray was doing, and then seeing what Bo was doing, like I was like, they look like Wyndham looked like the Wyndhams, Bo looks like the Rotundas, and then how they shot it and all these pictures of him in this video, I was like, oh my god, he looks like Wyndham. He looks like Bray. And the way, I don't know if I hope he's not studying his brother, or maybe he is, or maybe I'm just really connecting with it now that like they sound so similar. They talk so like the mannerisms, like the look.
No, he's channeled like, and it's one of like, well, because you're married to me, but like me and my brother sound very similar. So like,
yeah,
different people, but very, very similar. So just like one of those things that, like he always, you could hear certain things, and now he's channeled the mannerisms of the character more so. So Lisa's got a theory. What if Bo has Adam under his control, where yes, Adam's coming out and taking care of stuff like his normal day-to-day with Punk Rollins, right? But when it comes to Gable, Bo is in his head saying, don't get involved. Yeah, like he's subliminally kind of like,
I would love that.
Yeah, like, like I could leave it up.
Like, worry about this, don't worry about that. Like,
well, yeah, like it's the whole subliminal messaging that the Wyatts done, which is also something that I appreciate, because if you haven't hit the like, make sure you hit the like, and we're gonna make sure Bray Wyatt make sure you hit the like. And that's how we do it. We like it.
I love where this is going, and I know the criticism is like with Bray, 3-4 iterations of Bray that we saw. Everyone's like, well, the first chapter is fantastic. What are you going to do post this? I'm like, I'm really loving everything they're doing. Again, I think Bo's a great wrestler. I hope if he does have a match with Chad, like it's not like I'm going to like tarantula crawl at you. Like I want them to have it. Like again, it's a wrestling show. I love my stories. Mama loves her stories, but this needs to be something. Maybe I wouldn't necessarily be mad if it's not at SummerSlam, but it needs to be soonsies.
Also, and I kind of said like this earlier, but like what type of match? Like is it singles more? But like also what type of match in general could it be? Like could this be? Like Bray's first match was an Inferno match.
Yeah, but it's against Kane.
No, I know, but I'm saying like,
what's Chad? We're gonna have a submission match with Chad Gable? Like,
no,
he had the match that made the man. Like he was scarred, he was burned, he had Inferno matches before. Like Bray wasn't afraid of that. Like I think maybe I not want to call Chad Gable vanilla, but like you're gonna have a submission match. You can't have a crazy stipulation like we're gonna have a barbed wire death match. Like
no, they're not gonna do that. But I'm saying like you're not gonna like this. I feel like, but like we talked about the Firefly Funhouse match. Maybe it's a themed like a cinematic match that they open with. Not maybe the most popular thing, but maybe they've done cinematic matches at WrestleMania when there was a crowd. So Ed agrees. He said, when I think Uncle Howdy, I think it's...
No, but it's like, again, it was the opponent. With Kane having the Inferno match, it made sense. If you're going that route...
You'd also love another Firefly. So like, I'm kind of...
I don't think you're going to recapture the magic and we're all going to be mad about it. I don't think
Ed, you dirty fence sitter. Fence sitter. You ever heard the term fence sitter?
No, I've heard it. No, okay.
I feel like I'm breaking out new terms, but we want to hear from all you. So let us know where do you think this is going. You want to see Bo Dallas in a single match as Bo Dallas, maybe as Uncle Howdy? Do you want to see the group collectively together? How does this?
B team, B team.
Yeah. Where's Michael McGillicuddy or Curtis Axel, Joe Hennig?
Oh, he was for a hot second, wasn't he like backstage doing like producing work, and then you haven't heard anything since? So I think he's not like a producer. Poor baby. He had
Yeah.
your dad's
True.
Mr. Perfect. It wasn't happening for you.
Yeah, true.
Any hoosies.
So, all right. Well, let's open them up. We're going to open up the phone lines here. You ready? 3, 2. Since we're not together, it's different. So 3, 2, 1. All right. The phone lines are open. And we open with someone, a returning caller. But he was new here last time, but now he becomes a veteran. Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Midnight. Bobby!
Hey, how you doing,
Hey,
Nikki?
Bobby.
And Nick, and let me think of your dog's name. Bruce, right? No, not Bruce.
No, Bruce. Not Bruce.
It's not Bruce, right?
Not Bruce.
No, starts with a J. We're getting close.
Oh, Jackson.
There you go.
He's asleep on my couch right now.
Tell him I said hi.
I will.
I think mommy's gonna kick Dum Dum's butt all over the ring. I want her to destroy that kid. I want her to whip him so bad. He deserves it after what he does to his father. I think you're right with those two leaving the what do you call that? The
Judgment Day?
Judgment Day, yeah. Those two, her and Priestley gonna leave.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the stupid Dum Dum, and then you got stupid McDonough that is a knucklehead.
Bobby, you made a great point. You said this 2-3 weeks ago. You said you thought Rhea and Priest were gonna I think well I interpreted it at the time as you thought they were gonna get together. But
yeah.
To the point,
oh no, I said I know who I said, the blonde hair girl. I think she's heading over to Priestley. I think she wants Priestley.
Oh, you think? Oh, that's right. Oh, okay.
The blonde hair, my girl. What's her name?
Liv.
Yeah. Oh my God, Liv. Oh yeah. I like her very much. She's beautiful.
So does Dom.
Oh my God, I could believe that was Monday night, right?
Yeah.
That was crazy. Yeah, that was. Look at him. He is such a moron-looking thing. Who wants to go out with him? God.
So in real life, he's married, and he gets Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan in storylines. The guy's doing pretty well in
he's
life.
He's married.
Yeah, in real life.
Who wants to marry him? Who's married?
She's actually really pretty.
Who's married to him? She must be sick in the head.
Do you want to say your name's do you want to Google her? Or do you want me to Google her?
Is she an actress or something, or what?
No, they were like high school sweethearts.
Oh, okay.
They've been together for like a while.
Let's pull this
up. But they still like each other, brother and son and father, do they?
It's for TV.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But I think she's after Priestley, the blonde hair chick. My girl. Yeah, I think that's who she is. Then Priestley and Mama's gonna leave the stupid Judgment Day. They're idiots. Well, collectively, they have a IQ of a sock. Why did Kalito go on there? I forgot why Kalito went to that dumb team.
He needs allies because he's no longer affiliated with all the LWO people.
Oh, I thought it was a good guy.
No, he's kind of like an in-between comedic relief type guy. Like he's funny in where he's at right now with this Judgment Day. He's kind of the.
What about that other match you were talking about? AEW. Who's that bald-headed guy?
Oh, Luther.
Yeah, who's that? Isn't he? Was he a wrestler at one time?
Yeah, yes. Luther was a.
He was in New Japan.
What was his name as a wrestler? I looked that up. I remember. I forgot.
I think it was Luther.
No.
Bobby, you mean this guy?
He's not.
Yeah, the ball. Yeah, that guy. Wasn't he a wrestler? Was he in the WWE?
It's not like if you're thinking Gangrel, it's not him.
Oh, it's not? No, I thought that was him.
No. Gangrel.
He's still alive,
he
right?
looks like him. Yeah.
He's still alive.
Gangrel was just on AEW a few months back.
Oh, okay.
He appeared during Edge's match.
Oh, okay. And then the other thing, I think I want to see all 6 members come out of the we call it Wyatt thing.
Oh, the Wyatt 6? You want to see all 6?
I want all 6 of them to come out and beat up on what's his name? Gable. He deserves a whipping too. That boy is sick.
This poor guy.
Poor guy. Look at the way he treated Otis, and then look at how I forgot the Chinese guy's name and the girl. What's the girl's name?
Maxine.
Maxine, yeah.
Yeah, look how he treated all 3 of them like
he just wanted them to win. He just wanted them to win, and he wanted the
he's worthless. He's a Does he remind you of Kurt Angle a little bit?
Yes, he does. They call the nickname that goes on. They call him Perk Angle.
Yeah, I think he looks exactly like Kurt Angle. I thought that was his son or something.
Well, that's open is that they put him together with a bunch of other amateur wrestlers, and he becomes the next Kurt Angle because he's got that ability. He's great in the ring.
Yeah. Do you know who Ray Wyatt's father was?
Yes, Mike Rotunda, IRS.
Yeah, IRS. Wow, you know your stuff, guys.
Yes, sir, Bobby. We come ready. Bobby, when you come here, you're bringing the trivia, so we're ready for you. So next time, we expect more trivia from Bobby.
Oh, I'll give you more trivia. You guys are awesome. I like your show. A+. Keep it up. We're gonna get you to 500, so you can start getting monetized. How many viewers? How many viewing hours you have? You know how many viewing hours you have?
I haven't looked in a while. Honestly, Bobby, we're doing this because Friday nights, my wife and I love watching wrestling and talking wrestling. So this is just what we do. We love hanging out with people like you, and we want everyone to kind of call in and talk wrestling with us. That's really
but we want to get you monetized. You're good people.
I don't have a good mouth for being monetized.
No, you. Well, look at me on my show, right, Nick?
Yeah, no, but you
don't like people. Hey, rude.
I think Nikki should come to my show. One of my shows on Nick.
I know, Bobby. We're gonna
one day.
What?
We popped in. We were getting lunch. We popped into your show.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you went to lunch. Yeah, okay.
Bobby, we're that forgettable? Come on, Bobby.
Oh, I thought you'd remember me, Bob. Come on.
No, I called you. What did I call you last time I called in? Who did I say she looked like?
Oh, the situation's wife.
But I had one.
Yeah, situation. She has 3 kids with like the situation. Yeah, you look exactly like her. Blonde hair, pretty face. You got good taste, Nick.
Thank you, Bobby. I know. That's why I put a ring on it, right?
Yes. Oh, who sings that song? Who sang that song?
Beyonce, the Queen.
Yeah, my daughter loves that song. I put a ring on it. I had to always play it in the car for her. She used to love that. She's 18 today. You believe that?
Oh my God! Congratulations, Bobby.
Yep. No more child support. I'm happy.
Did you get her a lotto ticket?
Yeah, tomorrow. Well, today she's doing with her stepfather and mother. I do it with her tomorrow.
Oh, fantastic! Have the
and
best
I'm gonna take her and the boyfriend out to dinner.
Nice.
She's a nice boyfriend for 3 years. He's a cool kid.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Not like the first boyfriend. Forget about that one.
Mhm.
I liked him, but my parents thought he was kind of, egotistical. And then I finally found out what he did to my daughter. I'm not telling you what he said, but no.
Yeah,
All right, I
the
know
old knuckle sandwich, right, Bobby? The old knuckle sandwich with these guys.
Yeah, I know you got people in the back. I'll let you go. But thank you for having me on the screen tonight. You'll be on next week too?
Yeah. Fridays,
I'll
every
be here.
Friday at 6.
Oh, what's the next pay-per-view,
SummerSlam, yeah.
And then what about the other one? AEW, which one is that? When does that come?
All
The 20,
All
yeah,
in?
like the 28th. All
Oh,
out.
at the end.
It's
all
like
out.
Labor Day going into Labor Day weekend or the weekend before Labor Day.
Oh, no, Russ, please don't rush the summer. Ugh, I want the summer. Winter stinks here in Vermont. Are you guys going to any Jet games? Oh, you're going preseason, right?
Yeah, we like going preseason for birthday, August 10th.
No, I understand why you explained it to me. When you get my age, you forget a lot of stuff. So.
Well, Bobby, let me know. If you guys come down to the regular season games, I'll see if we can make it.
Yeah, we're going to me and my brother go open the day, and then we're going to the Halloween game.
Nice. Yeah. So we'll see which one we might be able to make it out to. I have to brainwash Nikki into becoming a Jet fan. So we're gonna do the
What team do you like?
brainwashing.
What team do you like?
We already had this conversation, Bobby. We're not gonna do it again.
I forgot.
No, it's the forbidden fruits of all things.
What team?
You know who the Jet fans hate, Bobby.
Hate?
Oh, the Eagles?
No, the other one.
Oh yeah, because
North, go up.
No, Buffalo Bills.
Tom Brady.
Patriots.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
Why are you a Patriot fan for?
Because I loved Wes Welker as a young lady.
Oh, that drug addict? Oh, I love the drug addict who played football. Oh, I love him.
You make hard decisions when you're young, and he was a young
but he was stupid, and he got suspended.
Boy can run a ball.
Yeah, well, what was he on? Yeah, he could run the ball. What was he on? I tell you that much.
As long as she could have said Rob Gronkowski. At least he wrestled.
Yeah, I like him. You should have said him, Ron. I love that guy. He is amazing. He's funny on NFL Fox in the beginning, pregame show. That guy is A+. I crack up every time he's on. I love that kid. Okay, so I talk too much. I'm from New York originally, guys. So I'll see you next Friday night at 6.
Yeah. Bobby, pleasure as always. Ladies and gentlemen.
Bye, guys.
Bobby Midnight.
Good one.
Let me get through some comments here. Yeah. Stop being a Patriots fan. I'm gonna Uncle Howdy brainwash you into becoming a Jet fan.
Never in my fucking life will I ever root for the Jets. Fact. I love you more than anything in the world, but I will never root for the Jets. But also, I think we're past me being a Patriots fan. I just root for my fantasy football teams.
But it still amuses me to watch you squirm when everyone calls you a Patriot fan.
I know, God. You're young and dumb. You're in love with Tom Brady and Wes Welker. It's not a good time in my life. I get it.
Well,
tell me about your weird factuations.
Well, before you do that, hit the old like button. Or you can Bray Wyatt hit it.
Curl. Put your drinks up.
Or if you like the bloodline, you can throw them.
What is this?
Still love it. Still love it.
This what happens when we're not in the same location.
Lisa loves the IQ of a sock. Bobby's got some great one-liners.
Oh my God. He's the cutest little pickle.
That's why we love Bobby. All right. So,
Lord Heaven Mary.
Next up.
Let's go on. New topic.
Next caller. Let's bring him in. The regular every week. He goes, say his name and he appears. Steven!
Steven!
Something's wrong.
Everything
looks out of place.
I know. I don't like being over here.
What's going on? Nick,
Where am I?
Nick, are you trying to land planes?
I am. All traffic.
Are you in the broadcast booth for Monday Night Football in 1973?
I'm actually, actually, it's funny you mentioned that Joe, now Joe Tessitore is a new announcer for presumably SmackDown. They're adding him to the team. So, yes, I will also throw my name in that hat.
Are you about ready to take my order for Columbia House? Operator standing by.
I just want to know if you want fries with that.
Oh, God. What's behind the doors?
So, Steve, what are you thinking? What are you drinking tonight?
Nothing is behind those doors. It's the stupidest closet I've ever seen in my entire life.
Okay.
It's the forbidden. No, it's actually the forbidden door.
Literally nothing is in that closet.
Literally every independent wrestler can walk through that door.
I don't get that closet.
That portal is prohibited.
It is a very prohibited portal. So, Steve, what are you thinking tonight?
Well, about the Wyatt group. Are they eventually going to be doing origin videos for the other band members too?
Well, I think that's what this was, right? Like I think it was him introducing.
Right,
but tell me more about your family.
I mean, they're not going to get their own one at a time because it's not like we don't know who the other members of Slipknot are here. And they're a big band. They're
Steve,
not.
I feel like, and now I'm going to push back on you. Name a Slipknot song.
Wait and Bleed.
Their number one single.
I can't name a Slipknot
song. Don't ask
song
me to sing a Slipknot song, but
touche, because I didn't know a single Slipknot song, so I wasn't even expecting you to answer that. But go on.
Aha. Yeah, I mean, like to see, like what brought Nikki Cross to this point, what brought Rowan to this point, and so on and so. Let's see. But ultimately, yeah, I'd like to see them in the ring finally.
I think a lot of it is like it would be nice to see more. But I think, and maybe that's a later story when you start seeing them more like as individuals, singles wrestlers. Like I feel like this is him expanding on why they were where they are. Like Gacy being a glutton for punishment. If you're a true big time WWE fan, you watched, especially like you watched NXT, you watched and saw the last couple of years what he became. Like you saw him with Schism, then you saw him doing all this stuff where he was just getting beat down left and right. You saw, well, the Dexter Lumis stuff I feel like is a little bit less. He's probably one, to your point, that makes more sense. That like you need to like, how did you get to that point? Because he is just playing the character, but that got thrown away. So, but everyone else, I felt like especially the Rowan stuff, like he's like, you've lost so much, and anyone who knows about like Rowan and the original Wyatt family knows how much death has been, unfortunately, sadly, around the guy.
Yeah, there's got to be some good backstories there to be written if they haven't already been written. Also, looking at these pictures again, I mean, you have to do a contest one week. Is this a member of the Wyatt Six or is this a member of Slipknot?
Ooh, that'd be kind of fun. like Slipknot or Wyatt. Yeah.
All right.
It'd have to be like a darkened light picture, I feel like.
It'd
be kind of unique.
Really close up. Second thing, couple of new signings this week that are really Stephanie Vaquer, who we just saw at Forbidden Door, and Delta, who's supposed to be this really big deal from Australia. Making the women's division, I mean, like the depth is just really, really getting there. And I think Bailey said on a podcast this week, Cody's first episode of his podcast, I believe, that they could do another evolution too. I say, why stop there? And I've said this before, give the women's division their own 2-hour show.
They're getting to that point. They need to. I still think they need to build up the roster a little bit further. But what I think is probably gonna happen, like Stephanie McCare, they're probably, especially with Shawn Michaels tweeting at her, like she's probably going to NXT. And this is kind of what we talked about, like post WrestleMania with like Dragunov and Lyra and like who's the other like there was like three women that came up. I'm blanking on her name right now, but like they kind of depleted the NXT. What's that?
No, who are you saying that came up?
So post WrestleMania, it was Lyra,
Kiana James.
Kiana James, that's what it was. I couldn't, and I felt like they're just they might have been the only two, but like I thought there was a third that I'm missing. Well, I guess the tag team was kind of
no. Isla Dawn, Alba Fyre were up before that.
I just feel like the roster had been like those Lyra had just completed the main event. Like, and I know it was a main event for like WrestleMania, but like they just depleted a lot of that roster, the main event talent. Like looking back, like Roxanne Perez, I felt like that was a lot of the reason why you saw the Jordan Grace crossover is like her challengers, they didn't have anyone built up for it. Now they're starting to get back to that with, especially after the match that at Heatwave with Sol Ruca having, I think you're getting to that point, but what's that?
It wasn't Roxanne Perez didn't have that match with Sol Ruca.
No, I'm saying I'm using that as an example. Like they're starting to build it back up, but it's been light. And like to Steven's comment, now you're seeing Stephanie Gutierrez. They're starting to, I think, replenish with all these signings. And also we haven't even seen, because didn't she get hurt with her wrist, or Julia? So she hasn't. Yeah. So they're all those women are still slated to come in, and Jordan Grace's contract is up in January. So I think a lot of this is the replenishment of the NXT roster.
Yeah. But I sort of want to, Steven, I love you. I don't want a separate female show. If it's good stories, it's good stories. You can match the men with the women. I don't want to be like, again, I think Evolution was great, and I love they have the little thing, but you can have a pay-per-view and have good fucking women matches and good men's matches. Like, it shouldn't be like, oh, this is the lady show. Like, have Raw, and there you got 3 hours. You can do a lot in the 3 hours. Men, women, whatever they do.
I'm just worried about them signing all this talent, and they have like no place to put them, or they're barely on.
Well, I think that's where NXT is.
And get rid of your crap stuff. You have 3 hours. Put the good shit on and find the time for good shit. Do I care? Again, do I care about Karrion Kross trying to corrupt Xavier Woods? No, I don't care. Let's move on. Like, you can find the time for good stuff. I don't want like a section like, this is where the ladies are. It seemed like when 205 Live came out, like I think I was excited. I was like, oh, this is something different. And then after like a couple weeks, I was like, well, why can't we just do this on Raw? I'm tired of watching shitty shit on Raw. Like, put the good stuff on Raw.
That's fair. Steve, what else you got for us?
I want to open up. I was thinking of this during the week. I want to open up the heel face shades of gray discussion.
Yes.
Sorry. Well, I think I have a maybe a different spin on it. I don't think it's necessarily that you have characters that are like you don't know which side they're on. I think maybe that there might be too many of them. I'll give you an example. I mean, this is New Jersey after all. Tony Soprano, good guy, bad guy.
Bad guy.
But when you watch that show, weren't you sort of rooting for the law not to catch up with him?
Only because you wanted the show not to end, but you knew he was a
bad
guy.
But he was the only character that was, sort of ambiguous. Like Walter White was another example until the last few episodes of Breaking Bad. But they were the only characters like that on that show. Everybody else was clearly defined. This is a good character. This is a bad character. Maybe with the exception of Saul Goodman on Breaking Bad. On the WWE shows, you have, quite a few who are vague like that. And it can cause, I think you have too much like that. It can cause confusion, too much confusion for the viewer. So, maybe not have as many. I don't know who you would pick to finally be clearly defined to one side or another, but just make it a little more clear cut. But you can still have a couple of characters that are tweeners, I guess would be another term.
No, for sure. No, I don't know. I'm torn. I think you could have tweeners, but like you still need to have defined top baby faces, top heels.
Maybe we're too smarky that I don't. Heel first face doesn't mean shit to me anymore. I'm gonna cheer you or boo you whether the powers that be labeled you as XYZ.
Yeah. I mean, look at Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton is the character is a heel, but last few shows just seen everybody just cheer tremendously for her. So,
Also kind of same with Chelsea. Like Chelsea's supposed to be a heel and everyone was like so excited, like look her coming out, her doing that spot, like so much on her. Like I don't get any.
Yeah, where's Priest at? There's another one.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like he's on the internal sheet as a heel. To me, Priest is not a heel anymore.
No.
Shades of gray. But I think some of those shades of gray do need to be filled in one way or the other, and just have less like that. Still have it if you need to, but just less like that. So you're both right. Just
Fair enough. Steve, okay.
Yes, in closing, because I know my time is up. Darby Allin came back to TV, but that's not my department, so we'll move.
Oh man.
As if Ed needed a reminder. So
why did you do it? You Beetlejuiced it. You totally Beetlejuiced this whole. Now, Steven. Now you, sir, are cut off. He invoked his name, and I said, "Say his name," and it appears, and then now, let's get caught up real quick and shenanigans here.
Again, I'm so tired. Again, Lisa, like it's like everyone was supposed to boo.
I think that's for you, Steve. Ed gives you a heart.
I was definitely hearting Steven.
Lisa said, "Look at Stone Cold. He was supposed to be a massive heel, but
yes,
everybody
that's
loved
the
him."
thing. It's like or like the same with MJF. It's like there's this smarmy heel, and you're like, oh, I'm into that guy. I'm going to root with that guy. I'm not supposed to like that guy, but I'm going to, and he's going to get over. Like I think it's
Lisa also is obsessed with carrying Cross.
I want him to smidge his hair just a little bit, but I get
it. I don't know.
You're like a weirdo. It's so weird not being in the same room as you to give you side eyeballs.
It's fun. It's a fun little challenge. So we have one more, but I hear voices in my head. They come to me. They understand. His name is Ed. His name is Ed.
No, what's up, guys?
Oh Lord. He was like, I'm gonna sing.
Yeah, I know. I hear voices in my head. Ed, that's your new entrance theme.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, I'm gonna sing Randy Orton's theme, but to Ed, I was like, "Are you?"
I mean, go for it. Listen, I mean, we could hire Rev Theory. Like they're not doing anything, right?
I don't think we have the budget for that yet.
Listen, they talk to him. They understand. They talk to him.
Listen. If Bobby has his way, we will have the budget for that.
Listen, I love everything about that. Like, shout out to Damian Priestley. Let's go.
Seriously. So Ed, what are you thinking? What are you drinking on this Friday?
So I actually just finished some passion fruit wine, but I do have an Ice Pop Prime. Keeping with the gimmick of just weird drinks, it's a good time.
Class is the class.
Yeah, dude. But what am I thinking? There's a couple things I wanted to touch on, but let's keep the heel face thing going because I really do love the shades of gray that we're getting on with both companies, honestly. Because I don't know if MJF's supposed to be heel or face. I mean, Nikki, you were right. He did have the "you people." Yeah, that's exactly what it was. He just showed "you people did this," and I'm like, here we go. Just being a bad guy in Wrestling 101, right?
Yes.
But yeah, like the Wyatts are obviously, what's the word I'm looking for here? Just as a standard, not trying to judge a book by its cover, but like looking at them, they look like they should be the bad guys, but they're going after Gable, who's kind of a jerk, right?
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's one of those like prophetic things where like, yeah, like they feel like they're justified in their cause because he's such a tool bag.
But he's definitely going about it the wrong way, but his reasoning is completely justified, which I do love. If you see what they're doing, I feel like they're planting seeds for an eventual Wyatt 6 versus Bloodline.
Oh, well, it would be lovely.
With the family, them like you're disrespecting your family, or am I missing something?
Yep. Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is.
Okay.
And like we're not going to get that now, and if they pulled the trigger on that now, that'd be ridiculous, right?
Agreed.
But like, can you imagine like a year or two down the line, and we've got like a fully, so we get past the Bloodline Civil War, because I mean that's coming, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And like you could wait 6 months to a year for that. For me, just slow burn that forever. But like you build up the Wyatt 6, like build them up and then build up the Bloodline.
So, well, the newer Bloodline, right? The 2.0 Bloodline.
Do that. I mean, give me Roman and give me Roman and the boys with Heyman. I don't care either way.
Well, it's also reminding me of speaking of like the Wyatt stuff. But you remember when, years just kind of blend together. But there was one Royal Rumble year where you had the Shield and the Wyatts both in the Rumble together facing off, and we never got that match. I feel like
no. We had that match. It was, I'm saying, not.
If we got it, I forgot it already.
It was a B pay-per-view. We had that 6-man match.
Yeah.
My brain.
No, yeah.
I don't know if it's a battleground or a.
Oh, it's
Elimination Chamber. It was Elimination
Chamber. It was like a bullshit thing. And they had the match because there was the 6 of them staring down, and it's just like.
Yeah,
and that's the exact point.
We got the 6-man stare down and the holy shit chant. Like,
Shield went over.
But I felt like that was like one night, like one Elimination Chamber. That was a WrestleMania. Like you talk about this, Nikki says it all the time. Everything's got to have a WrestleMania, SummerSlam, like one-on-one, like type deal. That should have been the 6-man tag. Should have been at WrestleMania or SummerSlam or Survivor Series. Like Elimination Chamber. Come on.
Yeah, no, that absolutely was a marquee main event pay-per-view selling match. They were like, but this again, it was the old creative era where they were just like, you're not a big jack dude, like so you don't look like Brock or Batista. I don't care. And then that's part of the problem. I mean, to me, pro wrestling is one of the most interesting storytelling mediums, and we're getting everything that like pro wrestling. I don't want to be like everything it should be, but like everything that. Not everything, but it's what pro wrestling can be with the Wyatt 6, and it's what Bray, Wyndham would or was going for. People that are actually on board and willing to do something new.
Yeah, I mean, well, they're all characters and they're all playing their role.
Again, so the fine line between sports entertainment and wrestling. And I feel like you need to. I want story in my wrestling, and I want wrestling in my stories.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I feel like they got to find, and I feel like Bray wanted that so bad, and I feel like Vince fucked that up.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like with Triple H and Bo, maybe this is like the corrective course of action that like it may not be what it was supposed to be, but we're gonna try.
That's exactly It's not what it could have been, but we're getting something in the same vein. And you know what? I'll take what I can get. Because Lucha Underground was doing something similar, which that very quickly I was surprised that lasted as long as it did. But like saying it was cinematic matches isn't right. But like I think I was saying this before. They went out and they let like half the AEW roster, because like most of those guys got signed to AEW. So they'd go out and have like 15-20 minute matches, and they would just edit it down for TV. And then you'd have your cinematic like backstage stuff that was something closer to like the Firefly Funhouse than it was like a pre-tape on Raw.
I
mean, Drago would literally turn into a dragon and fly away. Like it was. Kill it. Go ahead.
Sorry, were you talking about dragons? I don't know if you watched it, but on Wednesday, Bryan Danielson went through the ropes and he hit his head on the barricade. And fucking Nigel McGuinness is like, "Oh, for a dragon, you think you know how to fly?" And I was like, "Fucking Nigel, I love you."
Get him. I hope at least in like his retirement, like before Bryan retires, we get that. It kills me too, like that Nigel should have been such a big deal.
Yeah.
Like he was arguably the best wrestler on the planet in like the early 2000s. His ROH run was insane. And then he gets signed to so then he isn't able to go to WWE with all his injuries, and he had what, Hep C or something?
Yes, and he tried to backtrack who he got it from, and he couldn't figure out who he got it from.
But yeah, so then he goes to TNA, and they're like, "Hey, you suck. We hate that name. You're Desmond Wolfe now. Shave your head, stupid." And then he was the odd man out in Fortune 4, the greatest stable of all time. Let's be honest, only second to Chris Jericho's Schism. But we,
girl.
But man, what a misstep.
Oh wait, him on just like him. Oh goodness, him in NXT I fucking loved, and his just, like, these little moments of him talking, and again, him and Mariah, him talking about at Forbidden Door when they had their little kiss. He stood up and it was like, this is
clapping and crying. That's so
clapping
good.
And crying, and I was like, oh.
But don't even get me started with that, because I was like, okay, cool. Like we got a payoff for that, and now the three of them are together, and that's great. And then you immediately get rid of that. Like we're not gonna get anything else. She's gonna turn now.
I don't know.
It's no, don't get me wrong. It's a cool visual. Yeah, like all the Mariah's red wedding. That's awesome, right? Like you get all of this really cool visuals and like the stiletto in the face. Like that's great. But I'm like, but now already.
So you're not a fan of the turn right now.
You want 3 weeks of bullshit?
Yeah.
Or a month, or a longer month of bullshit?
I do.
I didn't have a problem with just for the fact that like the only problem I had was that I wanted her to like be more cinematic in why she did what she did, so that we could like her looking at the belt, like realizing that the belt was her focus, and like this is what she could take from her mentor. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff. Like it was like she walked up, took the thing, and just smacked her. And
yeah, it would have been kind of neat to give me 2 weeks, give me a little bit longer. And Nikki, you were saying earlier that like she was treated like crap for like the longest time. You can make that your catalyst, but like kind of I hated when let me put this way. I hated when WWE would spoon feed you stuff, right? Because like they would just beat you over the head with what they were trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would have Michael Cole on commentary telling you that this is what we're doing, right? But you could spoon feed me this just a tiny bit, like Nick, like you were just saying, have her look at the belt, have her do some side glances, have her do this, do that. And I only want like 2 more weeks of that, because we just closed out a part of that story where it's like everything is good and we're whole again, just to screw her over. Like why not screw over at the last pay-per-view and then win this and go, now I'm coming for you.
Yeah, I agree. Or just like, I don't know. Like just getting to that part, or like I'd rather see her like as Toni was raising her hand in the ring, just clothesline her, than like go like and then bring it to this like more immediate than like, hey, let's run together and prance along. And
that
then
was
like,
funny.
I know that that's their gimmick.
God, you never had a friend of me in your life. You know how girls work. I
am authentic.
You're right. I've never had a friend of me. I have friends or I don't.
I don't know. I feel like I said earlier, I thought this would happen at Wembley, but for her to just turn around, and again, we're gonna get that promo, we're gonna get that package, whether it's Collision or I'm assuming Dynamite, it's going to be a thing, and you're gonna have all the things of her, Toni just shitting on her, and like, this is why I did it, because I'm in a toxic relationship, and this is why I did it. I'm gonna fuck you up with my belt and punch your
language
in the neck.
Yeah,
but like, I don't know. I'm. This is the most female storytelling he's told in a while, and I'm here for it. Like, I'm glad Britt's back. I can't wait for Jamie to get back, but this is gonna be your thing for a little bit. And
well, I'm sorry, I'm trying to mansplain women's wrestling to you.
Oh
yeah, don't. If there's anything you can't do on this show,
oh my god.
wrestling
is
in
this the
general.
impetus of that story?
Oh gosh. But before we get off the rail, Ed, last shot before we let you go.
Oh, you're breaking my heart because there was one other thing I wanted to talk about.
All right, I'll let you get it in.
No, I derailed you.
No, you're good. You're good. Because
Derailed?
the only other, you're fine. The only other thing I wanted to talk about was the Max Caster situation. So he's been on Twitter, or sorry, X, formerly known as Twitter, a bunch.
Yeah.
And has been anytime anybody, there's rumors that someone's going to get signed, he's all like, I don't want him here. He's going to take my, they're going to take my spot.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have responded. I don't know if you've seen Shelton Benjamin did an interview with Chris Van Vliet.
Not recently, no.
So Shelton's response, because Chris asked him, he goes, how do you feel about that? And Shelton's like, who is this guy? Which it was just like, yeah, like I get it that like I guess we'd be taking your spot, but it's like Shelton kind of nicely was like, but what are you doing that like you're not securing your spot then? That like you're worried that someone else is just gonna come take it.
Right. Well, I could see both sides of it for this reason. But first off, I'd wonder how much of that is kayfabe to try and set up potential feuds, right? Versus like, because there's always that blurred line now with X Twitter.
Oh, and not to cut you off, but like there's no blurred line with AEW. They're just looking at like the smart fan, the quote unquote smart fan, and they're like, you get this, right? Wink nudge.
Right. Yeah, it's the old like Vince Russo, like everyone reads the dirt sheets type deal. Like I get it. See, my thing is, you're right, or Shelton's right to the point where like, yeah, like why are you so afraid of what could happen? But to the same extent, I'd be afraid too if my boss, the new shiny toy, every time someone becomes available, gets brought in and gets a title shot just to get thrown by the wayside. When you have the guys like the Ricky Starks of the world, Caster's good. He could be a single star. John Cena raved about him years ago, and he could be a single star on his own. I'm not saying it. So bringing in whoever the next, like, even though he's great, like Ricochet, like bringing Ricochet, who now comes up the card, comes in and becomes potentially a challenger to Ospreay or what I consider main event talent, pushes everyone down further in the card.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I'm only laughing because not that I think Ricochet is bad, but I like it's such an AEW move to just take a guy who's like a mid card or upper mid card guy and just slot him into your main event scene in AEW. It's just like, what are you doing? And that's coming from somebody who loves Ricochet, right?
No, it's the total AEW move. Like that's what it like. Next week he's gonna be debuting probably. And he'll challenge for the world title within 3 months,
and then lose. It's fine. And then he'll be completely forgotten, and then they'll probably give him the Prince Puma mask again, and he'll just jump around like it's a Lucha Underground.
No. They're gonna create the wait. So you have the Continental, the Global Continental Crunch Wrap Championship for Ricochet to win, and it'll be the equivalent of the speed title. They'll call it the slow title, and in the matches can only go if
they're only 45 minutes long. They're all 45 minutes long.
Iron Man matches. They're only Iron Man matches. It'll be AEW slow on X,
and they're just doing. No, it's going to be on Vimeo, and they're going to Canadian destroyer each other back and forth for 45 minutes.
Oh,
It'll actually be, and the winner of the belt will be Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, and then this time he won't try. It's nothing but him throwing slow spinning back fists and just low effort shin kicks.
Exactly, and like, all right, well, 10 minutes has gone by. Still got another 40.
It's for the create your own cravings box championship.
Well, whoever the next sponsor is,
It's either going to be something Rick and Morty, Adult Swim, or DC Comic related.
Yeah, when Snickers comes out with their next nacho, jalapeno flavored candy bar, it'll be
Baja Blast Dorito championship match.
Yeah, exactly. On that note, Ed,
you're both a Baja Blast. Get out of here. And I love you. Say your shit and go.
Oh, I love you too. Darby Allin sucks.
Bye, all right, Darby Allin sucks. That's a typical edit. Ed's out of here. You are
Good
cut. I can't cut people off
Lord.
because Nikki's running the bar, so I can't cut people off.
I'm running the fucking bar. We're wrapping shit up. I got children to feed, children to take out.
All right, settle down on that.
You're on vacation mode in Seaside. Mama's running the ship.
All right, we're getting last few comments to get out of here. Lisa said, "I love what Ed said. That wrestling is one of the best storytelling mediums out there." Thank you, Ed. Ed perfectly said.
I love you, Lisa.
Steve said the show can't contractually end until we all hear the line. That is true. That is exactly true.
We have so many catchphrases.
No, you only have the one.
You
only have the one.
Oh, 11.
That makes the most sense.
Throw it up.
Well, everyone, if you're new here, thank you for joining us on a Friday night. A new show. We're gonna try this more as the summer goes on at Linda T's Airbnb here at the Jersey Shore. So until next time, Nikki, bartender extraordinaire, thank you for your efforts this evening. But until next time, you don't have to go home.
But he can't stay here. Goodbye.